Okay, so thank you guys so much for being on a Sunday evening. Rachel is going to be chatting with us tonight, and I'm going to let her kind of take over, but I want to just introduce her just a little bit. I was trying to think, and you might have to, maybe you remember um, how we met. I think we were in a push group together, and yes, that's what it was. And so we connected over being teachers and all of that jazz. And so Rachel is a 6-star diamond coach. Was a 2000, well, I always say was. Her team hit elite last year, so she is a 2019 elite team. She's been a coach for almost 3 years now, so she is still what I would consider a very baby coach. I feel like if you're in your first 2-3 years, you're still very new into the business. Is a Success Club legend and taught middle school band for 10 years, actually. So, Rachel, why don't you go ahead? We are super excited to learn from you. I don't know about you guys, but I have got space for writing notes. I don't think that's enough space, but I'll probably put more space. So make sure you guys have a pen, something to write down, take notes from, because I'm going to be asking for your takeaways whenever I share this video tomorrow. So go ahead, Miss Rachel.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to, I'm going to share my screen so that I stay on track because I can talk a lot. And don't judge the craziness. I was on a charter of my desktop. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. Of my, if you see the rest of my computer screen, it looks like a mess. So I just got back from I taught middle school, like Megan said, I taught middle school band for about 10 years, and I'm married to a high school band director. And we went on their band had a beach trip this weekend, which is so crazy that normally I would never be able to go on any. My husband's name is Ryan. I've missed so many of like Ryan's things because I was band director too. And if I was still working my old job, I would have had a contest on Friday out of town. I wouldn't be able to go. So I'm just like really enjoying being able to like actually see my husband more in this last school year, since I've not had so many like commitments outside of just the regular school hours. So we just, I'm in the Austin area, and we were in South Padre Monday or Friday, Saturday, and then we just got back. And it, every little pit stop takes longer and everything. So we were like an hour and a half behind schedule all afternoon. Anyway, I'm so excited to share with y'all today, just so that I can get a good idea of, let me stop sharing my screen for just a second. Who's on the call? There's lots of people. That's so awesome. Who is a teacher or has like, or was a teacher, at least. I assume if it's anything like my team, because there's lots of teachers that are on my team. And then what about if you've been a coach for more than a year? And like less than 6 months? Newer coaches? Oh, awesome. And then what about like 6 months to a year? Like coming up on your anniversary? Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, cool. So I'm going to share just a little bit about my story and talk about how kind of I got started, and then how I'm like doing crazy things over here with these tiles. Just overcoming some disappointments that I've had. I also have a very, 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 very local team. And I've kind of realized just the more I learn about other teams in the network, that my team has really learned how to rock our warm market. And that is kind of the foundation of people that are a part of my team, the ones that have a really like solid business. And to me, a solid business means like hitting Success Club consistently and having an income that I would say like getting paid every week, making something every week and not ever having like a $0 week, are those coaches that are on my team that really, I think, like utilized their warm market from the beginning. So I'll talk about how I did that. And then I've had lots of disappointments. I think anyone that you see that has success in this business has had even more disappointments, failures, which I really consider failing forward, and miss goals. For every goal that you've seen somebody achieve, they've missed that goal before, for the most part, or they've missed some sort of goal along the way. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit too, and kind of share with some of my disappointments in the business with you, and how I've like kept going, and how we hit elite this year, because a year ago we were not tracking for it. So like Megan said, I taught middle school band for 10 years. I worked insane hours, like 60 to 70 hours a week, more Saturdays than not. Married to a high school band director. In Texas, band is like super, 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 super competitive. It's about on the same level as football. And we were really, or he is, and I was like, really kind of like a star in my career. And we were super successful, and I was like really, really obsessed with it in my 20s and wanted to be the absolute best at it. And we were both making $50,000 a year, which when I was 22, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm rich. That's awesome. And then by the time I was like 27, it was like, why do we have no money? And why do we literally take home less and less money every single year? We're getting these 1% raises, but our cost for health insurance is insane, and it's terrible coverage. And we were working with a financial planner, and we were like, oh, we're actually like making less and less every year in our take-home pay. So it's just so crazy. But I was somebody who threw myself into my job, and everything was about the kids. I was working from 7 a.m. to at least 7 p.m. Every single night, including when in the 2 years that I did both that and coaching. And I just didn't know how to take care of myself. I yo-yo dieted throughout my whole 20s. Like, I'll eat a little bit less, and it worked for me. I was like, oh, I have a friend's wedding to go to. I'm going to eat less and fit in this dress. And that was like my mentality. And then that stopped working for me, clearly. I just didn't know like how to fuel myself, how to like to eat to fuel my body and things like that. We had a lot of student loan debt and credit card debt. And other than my weight gain, you would have never known that I was somebody who struggled, especially financially. I also had a really hard time with like the amount of, because we were in such a competitive career field, like working so closely with other people on my work team, and just like all the pressure, and there weren't like super clear boundaries, and parent, like we worked really closely with parents and stuff too, which is great to have parental support, but it's like, I feel like I took an emotional beating almost every single day, either in a form of a parent conference, parent email, a phone call. And it was like sitting in a meeting with an administrator where an administrator is just like, just let them talk. Just let them say these awful things about your character that aren't true. And I used to just be like, oh, that's just part of the job. That's just part of the job. That's just part of the job. But I felt like I was becoming like a more and more dim version of myself every year that I taught. And it was something like, I loved that job at first. And I loved it until even when I started coaching, I was like, I'll never be somebody that like does that full time. I just wanted to make extra income. But it was like, once I started coaching, it started opening my eyes up to all of these other things that didn't really seem right. And I think a lot of that was personal development, like a lot of things that just weren't right in my place of work. So my coach found me, so I was de-tagging every photo of myself on Facebook, so you never saw my weight gain. But I was 40 pounds heavier than I am today. And so like, this is my very first, transformation from my very first challenge group about 4 years ago. My coach found me through Facebook. We went to high school together. I didn't know her though. I was just like, oh my gosh, how does Raquel know me? And she didn't. But we had so many mutual friends. And she had like 3 kids under 3, including a pair, she had twins. And she was like ripped. And I was like, oh my, and she was like posting all these healthy meals, but they looked really good. I was like, okay, so she's eating real food. Like she's eating a lot of food. She looks like that. And she has 3 kids under 3, like whatever you're doing, sign me up. And like literally, even though I had no money to spend, we were living paycheck to paycheck, often didn't know how we were going to pay for groceries in that last week of the month, which seems so outrageous that 2 people who were really at the top of their career field and teachers, couldn't never really knew if we had enough money to buy groceries in those last 5 days of the pay period. So even though I had no idea even though I didn't really have money, I would have signed up no matter what it cost. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Just tell me how much. Just tell me how much. Yeah, you know, it was like $140 back then. It was the 21-day fix challenge pack. And if it was like $500, I would have bought it. Because I just wanted to change so badly and feel better. I was so tired, so cranky, needed to pour back into myself. I was like, why am I putting all of this into this job and like to just lose myself and to like just gain all this weight and to just sleep all the time? Because I would fall asleep at like 7 o'clock. Like, I guess I got home at 7. I would fall asleep by 8 every night. So I went all in the challenge group. I wasn't like a super active participant, but I did all the things. And that's why I don't beat up myself too much when people are in my challenge groups are like, no one's really participating. I was so busy at work that I could not type out but I was still doing the things. I was not too busy to follow the plan. I don't think anyone is too busy to follow the plan. So I wasn't like a great challenger, but I signed up as a discount coach on my 29th birthday. Best surprise birthday present I ever gave myself. Thought coaching was a scam. When she asked me, I was like, I'm in tear. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean you want to be a coach? Are you kidding? No, I don't want to do that. But yeah, I'll give you my social security number so that I can get a discount on Shakeology because I loved it. But I watched her on social media for over a year, including other coaches that are on our team that were in this challenge group too. And I saw them like start to transform their life. They all seemed to get happier, especially like the financial stuff, because that's ultimately what made me become a coach, when I saw what was possible and how I could fit this in, because my coach was so freaking busy with 3 kids under 3. I'm like, if she can do it, I can do it. But I never liked any of her coach related posts. I never commented. I never asked to join any sneak peeks. She followed up with me like 3 different times that summer. And I was like, no, do you not realize I'm already signed up as a discount coach? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But every time she asked, it made me think about it a little bit more. So she like planted that seed in me, and she kept watering that seed every time that she asked me. And by that last time, after the 3rd time, I really wanted her to ask me one more time, because I would have at least at that point wanted to talk about it. Like, tell me how I can fit this in my really busy schedule. I'm still overweight. I'm still clearly on my journey. I used to think, who would want, like, I used to like look at that picture. Now I'm so freaking thankful that I took these pictures, because they helped me reach so many people who were in my exact shoes. Even though in that month 2 photo, I'm literally crying in it because I couldn't see a difference back then, when clearly now you can see that there's a huge difference between month 1 and month 2. I was still in this like bad headspace where I was like, I look the same. I'm still overweight. I feel miserable. I'm like, I'm losing weight, but I look the same. I don't understand, which it's like, you know, you just kind of need time away from it to see it. Anyway, I thought like, who would want me to be their coach? I like have a degree in clarinet performance and I teach middle school band. What do I know about fitness? And this is one of the reasons why I actually don't lead with telling people that I am a health and fitness coach. Because that's not really how I see myself in this business. And I'll explain that in just a little bit. So I also didn't want to be salesy. I was like, ooh, I see those people on social media that are like posting graphics of like, here's why you should buy this from me. And I was like, that's annoying. That's cheap. And that's like cheesy and icky. And that's not my style at all. Okay. So let me go to the next slide. Okay. So then after 14 months of, 14 months of watching, and not getting ahead financially, you know what? I opened the wrong one. I don't see it on here. Okay. That's okay. Okay. After 14 months of watching, I was like, okay, I'm finally ready to do this. This is like over a year. Cause I was like, okay, we're going to pay off more debt. We're going to be ahead in a year. I think so many people just think that their life is going to drastically change in a year from now, because when you're in your 20s, it does. Like 22 is very different than 23. 24 is different than the year before. 25 is different than the year before. And then it gets to a point where if you're not actually making changes in your life, it literally stays exactly the same, which to me means that it actually gets worse. Because whatever like crappy situation you're in, you're just staying there because you're not doing anything to get yourself out of it. And I just had that realization, like, you're never going to make more money in this job, Rachel, and you have to do something. Because for us, we're like, how can we ever have kids? We're never home and we'll never be able to afford them. Like, we were like drowning in it. Felt like, especially student loan debt, that just seemed so overwhelming. Like, so much of our paycheck was going towards minimum debt payments. So when I was ready to join, I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to freaking do this. There is no half-assing anything for me in my life. That's not my personality at all. But I also knew I'm not going to be gross and icky and salesy. But for me, like, even though I did have some ego when I started, instead of being like, my ego, like, I don't want to talk to people, I don't want to be embarrassed. It was like, I'm not going to be, what's more embarrassing for me is for me to put myself out there and start posting on social media, which I was pretty inactive before. And then people see me quit, because that's what I think is gross. Like, when I see people that are like, when like MLM or network marketing stuff seems icky to me, it's because so many people start and stop. But when somebody starts it and they stick with it, I'm like, that's really admirable. Like, that's attractive. That's something I want to be. And I just think that smart people have a little bit of like skepticism in them, and I'm a little bit skeptical. And so I needed to watch my coach for over a year to make sure she was really legit. And essentially it was like a post that she made 2 months before I finally said yes, where she shared what she made in 1 week. And honest to goodness, I don't even know how much she shared. That's why it doesn't matter what you're making. I don't know if she shared that she made $1,200, or that she made $800, or if she made $200, or if she said that she made $200 in 1 month. Whatever that number was spoke to me at the time, because I knew that if I could make that in 1 week or 1 month, that my life would have so much less stress. Whatever, I don't even know what it was. If it was like, I made $200 this week, I was like, oh my gosh, if I can make $200 extra this week, that would change my life. If I could make an extra $400 a month, that would change my life. And so I trusted her. And so I said, whatever you like, tell me whatever I need to do this. I'm ready to go. And so I just shared so openly and with so much excitement right from the start. And every single coach that I have on my team that has success at the start, like, this is a must. Share your excitement. It doesn't matter if you have results first. I happen to have some sort of a transformation because I was a challenger for a year. I kind of stopped getting results after that month 3 because I just kind of stayed the same. For me, coaching kind of took me to the next level in my accountability. But just sharing just sharing with excitement. And it wasn't like, so this August 1st was my very first challenge group that I ran. So it's like 2 weeks before, that's when I was like, I'm a coach now. And I like posted that photo and people were like, whoa, holy crap. Like, why is Rachel posting a photo of her in a sports bra and shorts? And I'm literally like dying. I'm like, oh my gosh, my stomach is showing. And I think I like had to like type up a post, and I could not bring myself to post it. So I was scared. I was very, 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 very scared and very nervous, but I took action anyway. I did it anyway. More than how scared I was excited about where I knew that this business could take me in my life. And so my excitement outweighed my fear. But I would like show my husband like, oh, I can't post this. And so he'd take my phone and he'd be like, okay, post, it's done. And then I would like go and throw my phone like in the bedroom, close the door, and wouldn't look at it until like the next day. So I just kept doing that. And I kind of made this like promise to myself, like, do something that gets me out of my comfort zone every single day so that I can raise my own like comfort level temperature. And it just keeps getting higher and higher. So I just kept doing that, sharing everything. And I was just always sharing like, here's how this fits into my really busy life or whatever. Here's why I'm coaching. I love it so it's giving me something to be excited about. And I can't wait to see where this takes me. Like, that was most of my stuff. But I did recruit customers and coaches right from the start because I knew that in order to grow my business, in order to grow my income, I needed to have coaches do this with me. I also thought that this was the most incredible blessing to have this excitement and to have this potential to earn income for a family that really, really needed it. And so I told all my friends about it, even though I was scared. I was scared to talk to them about it, but I did it anyways because my coach said, you're just going to plant a seed in them. They're not all going to say yes, but it's just your job to talk to them about it before somebody else does. Okay, so here's kind of my income progression, and I'm just sharing this with you, especially to talk about the importance of getting a 2-star. But I share this in my this is a graphic that I share in my sneak peeks. So my coach said you need to hit Emerald right away, and you need to set up your business with, and this is how I teach my team to set up their business with, set up Emerald with your spouse and another family member. And so I signed up my husband and my mom, and they're both in positions to be like my top 2 earners. My mom's is not my top earner yet. My husband is by a lot because he was the first person that I signed up, and I had some rock stars that are underneath him. My coach said, like, hey, I think that you could be a diamond coach. And I was like, oh, what? Really? You think so? Like, I thought this was like this big scary thing. Like, I even put it like on my very first vision board. Like, one day I want to be a diamond Beachbody coach. I didn't know what it meant, but I was like, wow, they get celebrated a lot. Like, that's really huge. Maybe I can do that one day. When literally it is just Emerald times 6. Like, that's all it is. It doesn't come with any extra responsibilities. It doesn't mean that you are any more of a leader than when you were Emerald coach. It doesn't even necessarily mean that you make very much money, but I do think it is not financially smart to not be, if you're making team cycle bonus and you're at Emerald, you're literally losing money by not being diamond. So you need to get yourself to diamond ASAP. She said, we're really pushing for elite this year, and you're in a place where you'll be diamond number 5 on the strong leg, or in a place for you to be the 5th diamond. And I really need you to do this. I think you can do it by Thanksgiving, which was like the final like cutoff date. She actually made it the week before to go to a retreat, but I knew that was my coach's goal for our team to be elite. I didn't know what that meant or anything. She just said, you just need to get to diamond by this time. But I also understood that like that was what I needed to do to move my business forward. So I made it happen. So sharing, I really believe that like sharing your goal with your team, if you're a coach and you're not diamond yet, but you have coaches you've sponsored, or you are a diamond and you have coaches, like whenever you want to go to that next rank, like share that with your team, because your team wants to be a part of that. They love you, and they want to help you get there. And then because I was recruiting coach, and I said when I was recruiting coaches from the start, I mean, I was talking to people that I knew would be good coaches. Not only did I know that, like, what teacher couldn't benefit from this? Most of my friends were teachers. But I talked to my friends about it, like, hey, I think that you should do this with me. A lot of them said no. Some of them joined my challenge group right away. And then they got great results, and they're like, man, this coaching thing, like all you have to do is like share your results on social media and you post in these groups. Like, you didn't create a program. You're literally just like posting encouraging things in our challenge group every day. And so I didn't know what I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to be a leader. I didn't know how to train people. There were all these things that I hear people say, like, well, I don't know how to bring on new coaches yet. Like, what do you mean you don't know how to bring on new coaches? Just tell them to do exactly what you're doing. So my coach kind of helped train us at the same time. And that's the beauty of having like the way that our business is structured. And like, you have an upline. If you're a brand new coach, you can bring on coaches with you, and whoever your upline is, and y'all are part of an incredible team, like you're all going to get trained together. But if you want to start building a big income right from the start, you've got to have a team who's doing the exact same thing as you. And you're more likely to have them do the same things as you, honestly, if you already know them in real life and have established relationships with them, rather than them be a stranger on social media who they don't really fully trust you yet. And your friends that you know in real life are more likely to have FOMO and are going to want to do the exact same things you're doing, going to the same retreats that you're going to, get recognized at the same level that you are. And so we're all kind of pushing for the diamond at the same time. The two girls on my team hit diamond the same day. So I started 2-star qualifying pretty quickly after and hit 2-star. And as you can see in my income progression, where I hit 2-star, because you literally see my income go from $3,000 a month to almost double than that pretty quickly, or 1,000 to 3,000 very quickly. So I matched my full-time teaching salary within my first few months. And I share that to show you that it literally does not matter how much you're making today. Whatever your progression has been, if you've only increased your monthly income by $50 a month, it doesn't mean that it's going to be $50 a month for the rest of the year. I was a nothing discount coach with zero volume because I hadn't hit Emerald, who then was making $1,000 a month in 3 months. And I always have to remind myself that too. Like, Rachel, you're not stuck at your income level. Your income can literally blow up in 1 month, like it did for me, or in 2 months and 3 months, like it did for me 2 years ago. So it just changed our life. We were we took our first vacation together over spring break that year. And then we bought a house that summer, which seemed like we never would have been able to. So obviously I had so much excitement to share about what we were doing on our team, but we missed a lot of goals on the way. So even when I was sharing, like, okay, so at my 24-month mark, I had earned, $100,000 in take-home earnings by that time, which just seems so insane to me to think that was possible. Like, that's what I was making in 2 years teaching 70 hours a week. And by the way, I would only have 4 weeks off during the summer because I was on a really long contract. Anyway, I also, in that time, like, my income stopped growing at the same level that it had been, or at the same rate that it had been. I had a lot of coaches quit or who didn't get the vision. I had a lot of people in my job who I was actually really supported. I never anticipated there being any problems with work because I just was not like open or available to that. I always knew, like, if anyone ever like questioned, like, I just never thought it was an issue. Like, I made posts in the morning and I made posts at night, and I worked my business from 8 to 10 p.m. every night after I got home from work. And I never really shared about wanting to leave teaching until I announced that I was leaving it. I just shared a lot about how my business actually complemented me as a teacher, and it made me a better teacher because it really did. Because I was taking better care of myself, and I was doing so much personal development. But I did have people that I worked with that felt threatened by it, or would, kind of like try and like make fun of me, like I like overhear it. And there was like lots of, and even like close friends, who would just like say things, and they were just like, that's why I just feel like personal development is so important. And like one of the reasons like Rachel Hollis in particular like speaks to me so much, because I struggled. That was one of the things that I kind of struggled with, is like, what will people think? Oh, people are talking about me. And I just knew, like, okay, if people are talking about me, that means I'm making some waves. That I'm really like saying some things that are making people realize that there's some things that they might want to change in their life. Anyway, we hit 4-star within a year of me being a coach. And then we were at 4-star for like maybe 15 months after that. So it's like, like popping diamonds, like we do that at least one every quarter. It's like hitting Success Club is easy. Oh, I have PS coaches hitting Success Club. And while I did feel like, wow, this is easy, I'm having this. And honestly, you guys, it's so simple. Like, it is so simple compared to so many of our full-time jobs or whatever you're working. It's so simple. And while there's lots of ways that we make it complicated and that we make it hard, I did take for granted that it did feel hard for some other people. And so I wasn't really meeting my coaches where they were at. If they weren't showing up, I was just kind of like, okay, you don't want it as bad as I do. Onward, next. And not really like understanding that I actually do need I need hobby coaches on my team. I need discount coaches on my team. I need runners on my team. Like, all those things are good. But we missed, so we were ranked really high in the company that year. If we had hit elite that year, we would have been in the top 40. But I did not start 5-star qualifying until about 15 months later. And when we missed elite that year, so we ended 2018 or 2000. we were 2018 Premier team. So we ended 2017 Premier instead of Elite. And I used to say that crushed me. Like, that did not crush me. I let that crush me. I had built up so much momentum in my business. And the worst thing that you can do when you're building momentum is to take your foot off the gas. It's like you have to keep pressing it and pressing it and pressing it. And the more you push in your business, the more resistance you're going to face, the more disappointments you're going to hit. And those are all just like roadblocks to like keep you going. But for me, I was like, wow, I'm a phony. I don't even know why I felt that way, but I was like, we had all this success in my first year. And then for me, I was like, I wanted to be elite so bad that because we didn't miss it, I was like, I'm not really a good leader. Like, I don't really have a team. Like, we didn't deserve to be ranked that high. Like, I'm posting as if I'm really happy and I'm like so disappointed and this really sucks. And maybe I'm not cut out for this. And I never had any disappointments like this teaching band. And now I want to do this full time. Like, can I really do this? And I just really, really got in my head. And I did not make myself get out of that for a long time. I was still showing up. If you followed me on social media, you would have never known. I was still hitting Success Club, but I wasn't really bringing on new coaches. I wasn't really growing my business. And in my opinion, hitting Success Club is not growing your business. It's maintaining your business. It's keeping your retail at where it's at right now. But with attrition, it's not really going to grow if you're just hitting Success Club. To me, like, if you really want to grow your business, you'd be bringing on coaches and teaching them how to do what you're doing. Anyway, I was just in this funk until I realized, like, okay, I'm like, when I'm in this like funky headspace, who wants to do what I'm doing? Like, who would want to be on my team when I'm acting like this? I like stopped posting on my team page. So I had every coach from 2017 quit. I still have my OGs. I still have them like for my first 6 months. But after that, I had no coaches left from 2017, even though I brought on a lot of them. And that just really got to me. And so then I was like, okay, so I have really big goals in this business. I want to be $1 million earner. I want to be a 15-star diamond because I want those superstar bonuses. And I really want, but even more than that, like, I really want community. Like, I want this big team. I want to go to a summit and have this massive team. I want to host events. And I have so many coaches on my team that I can't even fit them in my house. Like, I just want more women to experience this. And so I'm like, okay, so what are the people that have these really big teams, or have this kind of success? Like, do they second guess whether or not to send somebody an invite? So like Melanie Mitchell, for example, somebody I like respect so much. I'm like, does Melanie think twice about inviting? Does Melanie think twice about working her business? Does Melanie press snooze and is like, I'd just rather sleep than get up? Does she get really disappointed when she gets a coach cancellation form in her email? Which that used to get me really down. Now I'm like, okay, yeah, that just means that I'm growing my team. That means that my team is signing up lots of coaches and there's just a normal amount of attrition. And so I'm like, okay, so I need to start acting as if. And so just like making that mindset shift and posting as if I had that team that I wanted, and sharing about that. And so at first it felt like, man, like, what do my coaches who know that like our team isn't really thriving, which by the way, no one on my team ever thought, wow, our team is no longer thriving. Like, that's just not something anyone even thinks about, because everyone's thinking about themselves. But I used to think like, well, what if I'm posting about like my team is full of like a bunch of hardworking women and we don't make excuses and we show up for our business and all these people that I wanted on my team. But what if my team like knew that that wasn't true? Obviously that's not true. But then I started like getting more people to like say yes to my invites, or getting back to having challengers that then wanted to become coaches. And so I slowly like started recruiting more coaches. And then in the last 6 months of this last year, we like turned it up. And I was like, okay, oh my gosh, I think we can hit elite. We have like no elite points. We have like almost nothing, but I think we can do it. I kind of like figured, oh my gosh, okay, if we have like 7, and all my OGs, none of them even counted for elite because they were already signed up, in 2016. So I was like, okay, so I got to bring on this many coaches every month and have to get my new coaches to like get all these points. And I just had to get really strategic about it, which I do love. But then I was like, I have to communicate with my team what I want. And I wasn't communicating elite goals with them before. So I'm like, okay, guys, here's like, I think that we can be elite this year, but it means that these people need to hit Success Club. It means that if you're a brand new coach, and I do this every month, if you're a brand new coach, you got to hit Emerald right away. And here's the benefits of being Emerald. And here's how being an Emerald has helped me in my business. So you've got to sign up your spouse and your mom and then your best friend. And that was immediate Success Club for them, and Emerald, and a PS and a +1 point for Elite too. And so every new coach that was coming on, it was like making all the diamonds stronger. And I was building my mom's account to get me to 5-star. Anyway, so it was like really, and that's why I feel like hitting elite this last year was like way more special because it really was a team effort. And it was the team's goal, and we like celebrated like crazy when it happened. But the coolest part about it, and I realized this kind of at the end of the process, was like when I reflected at the end of the year, the person that I was at the end of 2018, in December 2018, felt like a totally different person than 2017. Felt like a totally different person than June of 2018 even. And I was like, you know what the best part about this is that I am the person that I am, that I don't want to say made this happen, but led a team of people to believe bigger and do bigger and dream bigger, and helped them grow their own businesses. And like, I led our team to doing this. Like, I am that kind of person who like doesn't procrastinate, that makes sure that they get their action hour done every day. Like, I do not press snooze. I wake up at 5 a.m. every single Monday through Friday, and I don't have to because I work this business full time and I make my own schedule. But like, I want to be that disciplined person. So I decided to show up and be that really disciplined person. And like, and that makes me feel really good and really, really confident. And I show up for my business in such a better way. And honestly think that is the absolute best part about this business. So here's some of the things that I did with my new coaches and how I brought on my new coaches differently. So it's like starting like July, August, this is like post summit, where I was like, man, I'm not coming back to summit being recognized with the same rank next year. And I'm like, I want one of those darn tables on the floor with a reserved seat. So I'm not literally running to every session to try and get a good seat. I want my seat that's reserved. And I was like, and I like my coach did for me the first year she hit elite, is like she had her different diamond coaches sit with her at a summit. And so I got a little taste of what it felt like on the floor. And I just had that vision, like, I want my diamond coaches. Like, I want to have a different diamond coach sit with me on every event or every time that we're in a session that's in the stadium. And so they can get that like little extra special treatment, and that I can get to bring a guest with me to an elite party on the cruise or on the at summit. Like, I want to be able to reward my coaches who like hustle with me with those things. So here's what I tell my new coaches. We keep it so simple. Oh, one thing I didn't say was that, and I know better than this because I was a really effective teacher. I was trying to overtrain my team in years past. I was just like giving them more training and training and training and training. And I realized and when Robbie Carter is like, Rachel, are you creating a team of doers or learners? I was like, oh my gosh, learners. They're just like wanting more and more and more training, but they're not doing the things. And I used to have a Post-it note on my podium at school that said, less talk, more play. As a reminder for me, stop talking so much, give them as little information as they need. They need to play their instruments more to get better, not listen to me talk anymore. And so I was like, that's the same thing with coaching. They don't need, they just need encouragement. You go, girl. That's awesome. Hey, I would change this just a little bit. Hey, how are you doing? Not, here's how to plan every single post for the week. And here's how to write better. And here's how to do all these things better. And here's how to overthink everything. We just keep it so simple. So say like your journey first, always. First and foremost, every single day, your journey first. Then you share, and then you invite people to do it. That's how I always explain this to people. Yeah, we just take care of ourselves every day. We share it with people, and we invite people to do it. And we have to do all three of those things in order to have it. And also like respect your business hours. Respect, like for me, it was like 8 to 10 p.m. every single day. That's when I was working my business. That was closed off, couldn't do anything else during that time. Wasn't going to watch a movie, wasn't going to go out to dinner with friends. I was going to work my business those days. Respect your hours as a mom, as an employee. Like I said, I was not working my business when I was at school. I was too busy, and I really cared a lot about being really darn good at that job too. So from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., I was not answering messages. I was not sending invites. I had lunch duty, so I couldn't even do work during lunch. So I'm just really clear with that with my coaches up front. And that if you feel like coaching is getting in the way of your life, it isn't. You're letting it get in the way of your life. So when you're like, oh, everything else is falling apart and my husband's upset that I'm on my phone, I'm like, it's because you're not managing your time. And you have like setting that expectation from the start has really helped a lot. And also giving permission. Like every single Saturday, I ask my team, what are you doing to give back? What are you doing for your personal life this weekend? Like you don't have to be on your phone all weekend long. I'm not working all weekend long. What are you doing what are you doing for your personal life that has nothing to do with your business? Don't forget that. Because we are so like hustle, grind, work late at night, stay up late at night, do whatever you need to do to make your business goals by Thursday. That cannot be a 24/7 thing because you're going to get burnout. And I think that's just a misconception that some people have too. And mindset is everything, and it is always work in progress. Always make sure that you're like evaluate your time at the end of the day and at the end of the week. Like at the end of your 2 hours of working, did you spend more of your time doing, or did you spend most of your work time thinking? Because it should be 99% doing and 1% thinking. And then we talk, oh gosh, are we okay on time? I talk a lot. It's 8:15. You want me to wrap it up?
Yeah, maybe like 5 more minutes.
Okay. So inviting, I say like, no need to be an expert. Because this was one misconception that I had. It was like, I'm not a health and fitness coach. And so I don't lead with that. I don't say like, hey guys, I'm a health and fitness coach. I usually tell people I have an online business and I help people lose weight from home and I help them build businesses from home, doing the same thing too. But like I led with at the beginning was like, I am a master at being a busy teacher and only in making 30 minutes in my day to press play on a workout. I am a master at portioning my meals to get results and to do meal prep on a Sunday. And I'm a master at learning I'm a master at growing an online business in 2 hours a night, 5 days a week, plus a few hours on the weekend, and a master at teaching other people how to do the same thing too. And getting really clear on what I was a master at. And for me, it's not coaching people through fitness because I don't even like to work out. I just do it because it makes me feel good. And really getting clear on that. And then that's kind of what I'm selling to people. And then, like I said, smart people are going to need to watch you for a while to see if you stick with it. And then with recruiting, just being really upfront with what it is. When I get on the phone with people to talk about joining my team, I'm very clear, like, yeah, you have to drink Shakeology. You have to be a product of the product. We do personal development. We connect, invite, and follow up. I don't shy around that at all. Like I want people to know that they're going to have to talk to people and invite people, and that we, recognize people and help people get results. And I think the best thing, my favorite new coach to bring on is a coach that came from an invite and then had a watch. I have so many great coaches on my team right now that are like within their first 6 months who I invited over a year ago. I followed up with, they said no, and then they were ready to join. So guess what vital behavior they really believed in? Inviting and following up. Like they know that works. And then I'll share with y'all, I give my team to take, this is something that I knew that like I would have needed. So I do this for my team every single month. I just put that in the chat. Every single month I give them a a document that has all of basically kind of my scripts in it. Like here are the messages that I'm sending. Here's what my follow-up messages look like. Here's what I send to somebody who's ghosted me 3 times. Here's somebody that said yes before and then is ghosted. Here's somebody who's never replied back. Here's what I'm sending, that sort of thing. So you can save that. But one thing that has also helped my team in the last few months, if you haven't read Go for No yet for the specific like network marketing one by Ray Higdon or the network marketing edition, it's really, really good. And they mentioned about giving your no's a cost. And so I know if I sell one challenge pack, I'm earning about $70 commission. For the pack I usually sell, or like all the extras that they buy, I usually earn about $70 per commission. So I know that for me, I did that math equation. I forget what exactly it is, but like for every like 200 people I talk to, I get one. For every 200 no's, and I count no replies as a no. For every no I get, for every 200 no's, I get one yes. And so I know that in order for me, so every time I get a no, I make 35 cents. Or no, I think it's less than that. But I teach my coaches, like every no that you get in your warm market, it's 50 cents because warm market no's are worth more, maybe even closer to $1. Let's say they're $1. So every time you talk to somebody you know in real life and you're a new coach and you invite them to your challenge group or to coaching, you earn $1. But you can't cash in on any of that until you reach $70. And so for me, the longer I'm doing this, and now I'm a lot in my cold market, I'm making like 35 cents for every no. So I knew like today I made $18 today. I think that's what I added up. And so I'll share that with my team. Hey guys, how much money did you make today? I made $18, but I know I can't cash in on it until I talk to enough people for that number to go all the way to 70. I get way more excited about that than thinking like, oh, I had however many people. I had 36 people say no. Like that's not fun and exciting. And that's not fun and exciting to share or like encouraging to me, even though I know it pays off. So we give it like that amount. And then I ask them like, how much money did you make today? And they're really excited to share like the more money they made. I made 50, I made $5 today. And so that's one of the things that's really helped. And then when you're inviting to coaching, those no's are even more valuable because then those yeses are worth so much more than $70 because that $70 is going to duplicate and duplicate and duplicate and duplicate down the row. So just like making some of those shifts and inviting. And that's one of the things that with my brand new coaches now, just in the last couple of months, I've been saying like giving that price or giving that what they're earning, that giving that value on every single no that they get. Because so many people stop at $10. They're like, I talked to 10 people and they all said no. Or I talked to 20 people, they all said no. Well, yeah, you're only at $10. You got to talk to enough people to get 70. And then it gets easy. And then like, oh my gosh, all those no's, like it's so much fun to follow up with people because follow-ups are, I think they're easy because I have a pretty good system to work through them. Okay, so that is all I've got. Yeah, so you can look through that action hour if you want, or if you're stuck on like, I don't know what to say. If you're somebody like me who's like, I don't really want to have conversations with people. I just kind of like want to get to the point, but also want to make sure that they know that I care about them and their goals and make sure that everything is clear. And okay, so yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, sorry, I completely lost you. I'm the girl who clicks on the link and I'm like, don't know where I am now. Okay, so there was one question in here that I wanted you to address. So let's say you have a coach who you like go through your spiel and you're like, oh yeah, like you're going to hit Emerald. It's going to be awesome, all this stuff. And the question was, what would your advice be to people who don't have supportive spouse, family, people really close to them to lean on when they're getting started? So I'm sure you've run into that. What do you say?
Yeah. Well, this is one of the things that I think is the best about our team. It's like when you have a team, especially the team that y'all are on, like that kind of replaces that. And they're just going to have to lean on the team even more. Like I know that if I have somebody who doesn't have support from them, I'm going to be checking in on them. Probably it's a coach like every day. Hey girl, how are you doing? Because they're not getting that positive reinforcement at home. And in terms of signing them up, like to get to Emerald and things like that, I just know that that's probably not going to happen. But I do let them know like, hey, be sure to share with your husband I have a really good Emerald graphic or a graphic that I made that shows my husband's income progression. I'm like, be sure you share with your husband how much my husband earns. And he doesn't really do anything with the business except work out with me. And then to just like get your friends, but like not having people that are not having people that support you doesn't matter. I think it makes it easier when you have people to support you. But I think when you have like roadblocks or things like that, like little bumps, all that means is like you're going to be an even better mentor to your coaches who don't have that coming in. Like every struggle that you go through in your business, that just means that you're going to be really, really good at helping other people get through those things. But yeah, there are so many successful coaches that didn't have support from their family from the start. Just don't quit. Just like prove to them that it's legit and that coaching doesn't have to take over your whole entire life. It just makes your life better.
I like that. I need to make a graphic of Zach's income also, although he does help me with my finances.
Yeah. And I just think it's really cool that can be a completely passive account.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah. I don't even know the last time that I added a customer or a coach to it, honestly. So probably a year, something like that. Anyways, okay. Any other questions? I think I got the question that was on there. Yeah, I was getting some private messages of like, oh, that is my life right now with the teaching situation and parents and things like that. So I know that there were plenty that could relate. So go ahead.
No, I was like, just push through it when you're in like especially like it is hard. It's hard when you're teaching full time, when you're doing any type of job where you have like, you interact with other people and other people are in a place where they can tell you their opinion about you. And it's just like stressful when you don't like teaching is hard. It really is hard. But the best thing about this business is that you can shut that, you can leave that teaching at home, put your coaching hat on, pour into other people, and that this is kind of the business that gives back to you.
Yes.
And yeah, keep going.
Agree. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. Thank you, Rachel, for your time. I'll see you in like a half hour. So anyways, you guys, my team will be very impressed because they know that I like go to bed early, but I'm like so amped after your call that I'm like super excited to do it. So anyways, hopefully you guys have a great week and I will talk to you guys later. See you later.